bikes, they make me smile.
First of all, we're going to run through the tools you need. If you could zoom in right over here. Alright, so the biggest tool and most important tool you're going to need is this guy right here, a crank puller. Now, it comes in something like this with the handle and the puller built in, or you can get just the puller and you can use a socket wrench to pull it off, and that's the one specialized tool you'll need. And then also, what I've got here is two sockets. If you can see that, one is a 14 millimeter and the other one's 9/16, and that's kind of the average size of the crank bolts. And then a quarter for removing the caps over the bolts on the crank. Then you need a socket wrench for the sockets, and then maybe a screwdriver if you can't get the covers off the crank. So that's what you're going to need. So I usually use a quarter, and I put it in the cover, and I just twist it off. Usually bikes have these covers on them. You just pull it off. They look like that. Or the bolt is built into the cover. So that's what you got. Alright, you set that down. Okay. So now, as you can see, inside, underneath that cover is a bolt. So I'm going to take the socket, the 14 millimeter socket, just fits right on there. And usually it's going to be pretty tough to crank it off, so you're going to have to put it on the socket. And then just give it a good tug. There you go. And then it'll usually pull right off. So then you can just twist off the bolt. Then what you do is you take your crank puller, screw one end into the crank. So these threads are usually a little finicky, so you're gonna have to, screw around a little bit with them. But when they go in, you know it's right because it goes in nice and easy. So get it in as far as you can, because you want that puller to really hold on to the crank. All right. Then once it's in, you're gonna twist the crank lever, twist the lever for the crank, and you're gonna push it all the way in. And you'll feel once that crank starts to loosen up like that, and you can just pull it off. There you go. Crank is out. All right. And you just loosen it up, pull this off, and voila, done. One crank off, another crank goes the same way. So that's all you need to know. Out.